recording. All right, you guys, week 3. So tonight we are talking about flipping parties. And I have one of my favorite superstar directors and friends, Rachel Field, with us. And she's coming to us from across the pond. She's in the UK, and so it's 1 a.m. her time. But she's totally a night owl. She is the queen of flipping parties. She is the queen of recruiting. And as I recall, you said last time something like, well, I only recruit in like large groups because it's a lot of work to train people. So I recruit like 6 or 8 or 10 at a time. So she's going to share all of her magic, and I'm going to just turn it right over to you.
Thanks. Hi, everyone. I'm glad I'm your favorite. So Karen's given me free rein tonight. I think I've got 2 hours. Is that right? She's like, no. So yeah, I won't keep it that long, don't worry, but I do like to talk, so rein me in if you need to, Karen. So for those of you that don't know me, my name is Rachel Field. I am a super...
I lost sound. Did you guys lose sound?
She's muted.
You totally muted yourself.
Sorry, I'm back.
She's still kind of one of my favorites. Keep going.
Am I back?
Oh, yes, sorry. You are.
Right, I'll start again. Sorry. So I am Rachel Field. I'm a superstar director in the UK. I joined just under 5 years ago. The reason I joined was I was bored. I was on maternity leave. I didn't join because I wanted this big business, that I wanted a career change or anything like that. I was just a little bit bored. I was looking for a hobby. My daughter was 2 months old. My son was 4, and I was a full-time wedding photographer. Very busy, very fast paced. So I wasn't really used to being on maternity leave, like used to that slow pace. And my daughter slept a lot. So I was just looking for something outside of the home for me. All my friends were at work. They didn't have babies the same age. So I was just a little bit bored when I came across Sensi. So that's why I joined. It was never going to be this long-term thing. It was going to be 3 months tops until I went back to work, just to keep me occupied. And then that all changed when I sponsored my first person or my first few people. That's the side of the business that I fell in love with. That's the side of the business that I really, really enjoy. I love the products, I love selling them, but the sponsoring and the bringing someone on is absolutely my favorite part of this business. I like to see when someone comes on board and they're really, really nervous and they don't think that they're going to sell anything. They don't think that they're going to be able to do anything, but they're willing to give it a go. And then working with them and watching them and helping them with their launch party and things like that, and seeing the difference in them a month later, just in the confidence of them. Not even that they've hit certified or shooting star or anything like that. That's great. That's a great bonus. But just seeing the change in them, the confidence that they've got when they realise that they can actually do it, that's absolutely my favourite part of the business. And that's why I mainly focus on sponsoring. So I just wanted to say that sponsoring is not this big scary thing. I know lots of you are really, really scared of it. A lot of you feel quite comfortable with your sales, with your customers, but when it comes to sponsoring, it's like, how do I approach that conversation? What do I say to them? Don't be scared of it. Don't let the fear overrun you. It's not scary. It's fun. All you're doing is you're making friends and you're earning money together. That's all it is. You're having fun together. You're doing a hobby together, and you're earning a great extra income together as well. So it's never too early. Sorry, it's never too early to start sponsoring. The first one is always the hardest, just because you're the most nervous, not because it's hard to get one. It's just you're nervous about it. You're approaching it for the first time. So it's never too early to start. Try and start at the beginning, and then try and start with a friend and make it. Can I get distracted by comments? Try and start with a friend and try and make it as fun as you can. So my first ever recruit was my friend. She's still in the business now. She does it as a hobby, which is completely fine. There's no pressure there. She doesn't want to make this big thing of it. That's fine. She doesn't want to recruit. That's fine as well. But she does it as a hobby, and we make samples together. We decide what we're going to get with our freebies together. We do events together. Absolutely, loads. We just have fun with it. When we go out for meals, this conversation always goes back to Sensi. Oh, what do you think is coming out in the next catalogue? What do you think is going to happen with the incentive? Like things like that. We're always talking about it. So I made it really fun by recruiting a friend at the beginning, and it's still that sense of fun that I get when I'm with her now. So definitely start early. And if you find it easier to start with somebody who you know, like a friend or a family member, that's amazing too. Your first definitely is the hardest, but once you've got one, you might as well have 100. It's the same process, it's the same things that you're teaching them, it's the same things that you're going through with them. It's just a few extra conversations between having one and having 100. So once you've got one, you've got the ball rolling, just run with it. And while you're on a roll, while you've got your confidence there, keep going with it as well. So like Karen said before, I do like to recruit in higher numbers just because I do find it easier to train them together, and I also like to buddy them up as well. So if I set a couple of days aside to really focus on recruiting, like I forget about sales and everything, and I'll set a couple of days aside to send out my messages and go through my contact list and things like that to try and get a couple at once. And that way they can buddy up together. They've joined round about the same time. They can encourage each other, support each other, ask each other questions as well as me. It's less pressure on me, and it gives them a pacing partner and a buddy to go through. So that's how I like to do it. So the first thing you should be doing is making a list. Your list is super important. When you're making your list, there's a few things that you want to think about. Don't judge people because of something in their life that you think might make them a bad Sensi consultant. Flip that switch to why they would be amazing. So for example, if somebody's got 5 kids, 6 kids, something like that, don't think they're not going to make a good consultant because they've got all these kids, they've got no time in their life. Think about it from another angle. Think their kids are probably going to different schools. They know different groups of mums, they know different teacher groups, they know different community groups, they might go to play groups, they might go to nurseries. They have a bigger social circle possibly than someone without kids. So look at the positive. Think Wendy would be amazing. She's got 5 kids, she knows all these other people, she's coming into contact with 20 different people a day minimum, so she would be amazing because that. Always look at the positive rather than the negative. You might have someone that works full-time, that works 60 hours, and you think they haven't got time in their life. You need to flip that round. They work in a busy building, they come in contact with loads of people every day, they might go to different sites where they work and see different people there. Busy people make amazing consultants because, again, they're coming into contact with more people each day. On the alternative of that, you might look at someone who's never worked, who's stay at home, and you might think they might not make a good consultant. They've never had a job, they've never done this before. However, they're at home, they're on social media more, they've got more time to make samples and things like that. So always look at the positive rather than the negative. Think about your friends, your family, your neighbours, work colleagues, people who you went to school with, to college with. When you're making your list, try and expand it as far as you can. If you can get 100, that's amazing. But if not, try and get 10, 20, 30. Get them in those tens numbers on your list. Always thinking about why they would make great consultants. And the best people to bring on as consultants are your customers. Now, I know a lot of you are thinking, that's where I'm getting my sales from. I don't want to go down that road. I don't want to lose those sales. If you're looking at your customers and they're buying $30 a month from you, something like that, that's great. That's a regular income. But you're not making very much from that. If you actually break down what you're making from that, it's like $5 or $6, something like that, which is brilliant. But that's not going to change your life. That's not going to allow you to drop your hours at work. That's not going to pay for your family outing. It's great, but it could be better. If that person was to join your team, they're probably already selling to friends and family and showing people when they come round in like 1s or 2s. But if they join, they're going to expand that further and start showing people at work, which they might not be doing at the moment. They're going to show more friends and more family. That person could come on board and sell 500 a month, sell 2,000 a month, sell 10,000 a month. They could come on and recruit 100 people. You don't know who your next rock star is going to be. So don't shy away from your customers, because getting them, they already love the products, they're already promoting the products, you're halfway there with it. Rather than like if someone comes on and they've never tried the products, not that they're not going to do great. I came on board and they'd never tried the products, but if they already love it and they're already passionate about it, that's half of the training done there. So think about your customers when you're thinking about recruiting people. Also, some customers come on and something happens in a couple of months' time and they decide it's not for them. They would prefer to just be your customer. That's absolutely fine as well. Don't break down those communications, those relationships that you've got. Don't be angry with them. I quite like when someone comes on board and then decides it's not for them, which sounds weird. But when they come on board, they would have a launch party. I would help them do a launch party. They'd have 20 people there buying, 30 people there buying who've never bought before. They might get a couple of months into it, they've got more people buying, they've took it into work, they've expanded out to friends and family. If they then decide it's not for them, I have a relationship with them where I'm like, great. If it's not for you, that's absolutely fine. The door's always open in the future. You can come back for free at any time because past consultants can. Would you like me to look after your friends, family and customers until the time's right for you to return? That's what I do. So I haven't lost her. She's come back as a customer. She's brought 30 or 40 people with her who I'm going to look after. I am still hoping that she comes back in the future when she sees what she was earning or potential of earning and does come back and they can go straight back to her. I'm just looking after them. But my PRV is boosted in the meantime and she's still my customer as well. So I do get that a lot. A lot of people come on board and then they leave. That's not a big issue to me because usually they're coming back in the future, but they've brought all these people who I didn't know and I wouldn't have had a connection with otherwise. So definitely don't stay away from your customers. They should be top of your list of who you're looking at sponsoring. So start with a list, make a list of about 100, more if you can, or in the 10s, 20s and 30s, and don't assume with people. Like I said, if they've got loads of kids or if they work full time, they're coming into contact with loads and loads of people each day. Some will say no, that is totally normal. Don't be frightened of the no. It's not a scary thing. They're not rejecting you personally. They're just saying no to the opportunity. And also, lots of people don't actually say the word no. You hear no. If you listen to what they say, they'll say, oh, not right now. I don't think I'd be very good at it. And you automatically hear that as a no. You've seen the whole excuse busters thing before. I'm not saying like badger them and be like, yes, you'd be amazing. Yes. But don't stop asking them at the first time. 90% of the people who've joined my business said no to me the first time, the second time, the third time, the fourth time. I'm not asking them on a daily basis, but I'm planting the seed as often as I can. And if I hadn't asked them again, they wouldn't be the directors that they are today. They wouldn't be earning these incentives that they are today if I'd stopped at one. Also, last week, I had someone join in my group. And I thought, I know that name, not under me, under somebody else, which is fine. I know that name. Went through. I asked her 3 years ago to join and I stopped and I'm kicking myself. She's just hit star consultant in 2 months. Like, it's great. She's in my group. I'm absolutely over the moon for a sponsor. It's brilliant. But I stopped asking and it was just a little reminder to me that I need to take my own advice sometimes because my people who I ask and say no the first time, you go back to them and ask again. So when it's my customers, when I'm dropping off their orders, I just do little hints each time I go. So I'm like, could have got this half price, could have got this for free. Do you know how much commission you could have earned on this? Like, I might even put a little note in the bag saying, what an amazing order this month. Is this all for you? Where you're hiding this from the husband? Things like that, like something jokey. P.S. This is what you could have earned on this order. Like, just little things each time, not badgering them every day, but whenever it comes up in conversation, like if they're my friends and they're like, oh, I really want to go on that holiday, but I need to save. I'm like, you know what you can do? Like, I just kind of do that with them and I drop little hints, and sometimes they come to me and they're like, right, now's the time, the time's right. But sometimes it is the 7th or 8th time that I've asked them. I've had people who I asked 4 years ago who said no, who've joined this year and they're kicking themselves because they realise how great it is. And they're like, why didn't I join all them years ago? What was stopping me? So if someone does say no, it is not a no for now. And if you actually listen to what they're saying, it's usually not the word no, it's just a reason for why not now. If it's not for them, that's great. I often say to them, would another time be better for you? So I might ask somebody and say, what do you think about doing this as an opportunity? I know that you're saving up for a holiday. This would really help you. I know that vacation. I have to call American when I'm talking to you guys. Or you could say, I know you're saving up for a wedding. This could really help you towards that dress that you wanted. If they say, no, it's not for me, I often say, would another time be better? Is there another time in your life when this will be better? And they might say, you know what, after the wedding, once I get all the stress out of the way, once all this has happened, November would actually be really great for me. So listen to what they're saying when they're not saying no, and put that down in your diary. Ask Amy in November, she'd be interested there. They've given you the permission to go back to them in November and say, And when we talked about that, you said November was better. How is it now? Is this month good for you? It's great. It's just before Christmas. We've got these new products are arriving, things like that. So always ask if another time would be better. And think about when you joined as well. Did you say yes straight away? Was it immediate? Were you asked to join? Did you ask them to join? Was it something you were thinking about for a while? Did you think about it for a week, for a month, for a year, for years? Did you say no a number of times? Did you see an advert and immediately decide that you were going to join? Everyone's starting point is different. There's always, what was it that made you join? Was it the wording? Was it the way that they said something? Was it the fact that there was no pressure there anymore? Did they stop asking you? I get that quite a lot, where I've asked somebody for a couple of months in a row and then I've dropped their order off and I've forgotten to ask them. And they're like, oh, you don't want me anymore. Am I no good for you anymore? And then they join. It's weird how people join. But not many people approach me out of the blue without me planting at least one seed. So think about that. If you think, why haven't they joined? Have you actually asked them? Have you dropped some seeds, planted some seeds there? So think about why you joined, because it's really important why you joined as well, because your story is going to attract similar people. So for me, I joined on maternity leave. I was bored. It turned into something. The first people that I joined, other than a couple of close friends, were also in exactly the same position. They were on maternity leave. Some were pregnant, some had had their babies, some didn't want to go back to work full time, so this was going to be something for them. Some of them had given up their job and they had no identity anymore, which was one of the main reasons I joined, to get a bit of an identity rather than just being a mum to this baby. I wanted to be a human again, a person again, a friend again. Like, I wanted that. So some joined for that. Some want to pay for childcare for when the kids go back to school. So when I look at the beginning, a lot of them were mums at nursery, were friends, were family, people who were in a very similar position to me. So your story is going to attract that. So if you join to save up for a wedding, you might find that other people are also joining for that reason, and look for people in a similar position. They might be like, oh my God, Claire joined to save up for our wedding and she paid for our dress and the venue from this. We could do the same. We're in the same position. We're getting married next year. So the reason why you joined might be a major reason why other people join. You attract very similar people to you. And if I look at most of my group, a lot of them are mums. We have kids pretty much the same age. It's quite weird how it's worked out, but that's what you attract, because you're on Facebook, you're talking about your kids. That's what's attracting them to watching your stories, to watching when you go live and things like that, because you're very similar people. So why did you join? What was it? Was it the way somebody asked, or was it just the right time for you, or were you saving up for something? Because look out for similar people. When it comes to conversations, sorry, I do talk a lot. When it comes to conversations, there's certain ways that you can ask people that sound more attractive and less poachy and less like, join my team. No, I don't like that. Like, look what you can do for me. It's not about that. It's about the person. So really think about how you're asking someone. So my favorite way to ask someone would be an indirect approach rather than a direct approach. So like I said, I make my list first of all, and I try and ask in 10s, 20s and 30s, not just one at a time. Because if I ask 1, 2 or 3 people and then 3 people immediately say no, I'm like, oh, no one wants to join. Oh, I'll do this again in a week. Like, I'll put it off. I'll do it next month, because I feel a bit wounded almost because I've said no. Where if you're asking 10s, 20s and 30s at a time, go through your list and have your list in front of you, you're going to get a couple of maybes in there. You're going to get some people thinking about it, and that's going to spur you want to keep asking rather than make you disheartened and pull away from it. So I've got my list, and what I tend to do is I make up a load of samples that I've been doing today. So I'll make up a load of samples and I'll go through my list and I'll ask in 10s, 20s or 30s, something like that. I'll decide a number, say I'm going to do 30, and I'll literally go through them all and I'll put their name on, make it personal. I'll be like, hi Claire, I've just made up a load of samples. We've got the brand new catalogue and some new fragrances to try. Would you like fresh or would you like fruity? I'm posting them out tomorrow. You're not asking them if they want a sample. You're assuming that they want a sample. Most people want a sample. They're free. Say the word free. I made up a load of free samples. Would you like fresh? Would you like fruity? That's pretty much my standard approach. They'll reply, and then I'll go back to them. I'll say, that's great. I'll post that out tomorrow. You don't know anyone looking to make an extra income or get their own Sensi for free, do you? Same sentence every time. You don't know anyone looking to make an extra income or get their Sensi for free, do you? Put that on. You're not only asking them, you're asking if they know anyone, so you're widening that straight away. You're not just asking one person off your list. You've turned that one person off your list into who they know, their friends, their family, their neighbours. Also, by asking if they know someone and not asking them directly, a lot of people say no as an immediate reaction to something when they're scared or when they don't know the answer. The first answer is no. Like, I don't like roller coasters. I don't like rides. I don't like things like that. Anything scary. Someone said to me, do you want to go on a roller coaster? No. 10 seconds, not even 10 seconds, 1 second, I've made my mind up, they've got an answer. No. Someone said to me, oh, there's a new roller coaster. Do you know anyone who would like to go on it? Oh, who do I know who likes roller coasters? Oh, Tony likes roller coasters. Andrew likes roller coasters. Sarah likes. I'm thinking about it, and then I'm like, oh, if they go on, I might dare go on with them. Like, it gives you 10 seconds to let your brain adjust to the question and actually think about it, rather than a knee-jerk reaction of, no, I don't want to go on. So I say, do you know someone? They might come back to me and say, oh, my sister's out of work, she might be interested. I've said free Sensi as well, so I'm hitting two things, because I didn't join for the money. I didn't join for an income for business. I'm bored. Like, if someone said free Sensi to me, that would have made me join as well. So you're hitting two things. They're buying Sensi from you. Do they want theirs free? Do they know anyone? They might come back and say, my sister's looking for an extra income. And then I ask them to set up a group message between them, their sister, and me. So they're doing an introduction, they're vouching for me. People aren't going to join you if you don't trust you. If you're just some random out of the blue messaging saying, oh, your sister said you might want to join. They're like, did she? Why would you say that? So if they set up a message with you in it, they're vouching for you. This is Rachel. She does Sensi, you know what I buy. And she wondered if you'd be interested in getting any more information, things like that. If they come back to me and say, oh, no, I can't think of anyone, I'll say, what about you? Sometimes they come back and say, I want free Sensi. How do I get free Sensi? So we'll have the conversation. If they say no, so on my list of 100, I've got their name at this side, and I've got the reason why they'd be amazing. So Claire would be amazing because she works in a busy building, knows loads of people. Amy would be amazing, she's got loads of kids who go to different schools. Sarah would be amazing because she's already been a customer for 3 years. She loves the products. Always have a reason. Somebody's really organized, somebody's really good on Facebook, somebody's got an amazing Instagram account with loads of followers. Write the reason next to them, so when you're having this conversation it makes it easier. So I'll say, what about you? You would be amazing because, and give the genuine reason why they'd be amazing. Make it genuine though. Don't, like, if someone said to me, oh, you'd be great, you're so organized and you're on time for everything, I'm like, I'm not. Who are they talking about? So you need to make it actually about them and about something that they're going to be like, oh yeah, I do have loads of people on Facebook. Oh yeah, I do know loads of people. Oh yeah, I have done direct sales before and it worked out quite well before. Whatever the reason, make it genuine about them. So if they come back and say, I don't know anyone, what about you? You would be amazing, because they might not join straight away. They might decide that night, yes, this is for me, I'm going to do it. That's a perfect scenario. But usually they take a little bit of time to think. So they'll say, I'll think about it. Would another month be better for you? What month? Why? When can I contact you again? You're setting up that future date for when you can contact them again. So that works really well for me by saying, is there anyone that you know? Also, the horse join kit is the best thing that we've ever gotten. It is absolutely amazing. It has totally changed the game for recruiting completely. Like, it's a whole new thing now. So I think it's $99 over there for your join kit, isn't it? It's £85 over here, which I actually think is a really good price for the product. It is a really good price, it's great value, but that is a stretch for some people. Some people, that coming out of the family money is a stretch. So the horse join kit is absolutely incredible. And how I like to use it is, everyone who wants samples from this, like when I say free samples, do you want fresh or fruity, I try and turn it into a borrow basket or a borrow bag. So I'll say to them, do you want to take the products for a weekend to test out? Do you want to try a few of the fragrances? Do you want to try one of the new warmers that we've got? Made a basket up. A lot of people say yes to baskets, which is great. Over here, COVID's crazy. We can't do home parties. We can't do anything in person. Everything is doorstep drop off. So borrow baskets and borrow bags are working amazing for us at the moment. So I always offer a borrow basket, and for those that say yes, that's great. I try and do them in two. So I usually have quite a list for borrow baskets of like 8 or 10 people at a time. So I always have 2 made up, and I drop 2 off on the same day. So Monday is my drop off days for those, and I'll either pick them up on the Wednesday or the Friday, depending on the person. I'll see if they're going to take it into work. I'll see if they're going to show the people. what I do is I take my basket. They're both out, so I haven't got one with me. Take my baskets to the doors, and when I get to the doors, in my basket I've got a warmer or a mini warmer. I've got a tub of washer whiffs with just one sample worth of washer whiffs in, but to show them the whole size tub, I like to do that. I've got some wax samples for them to use. I've got a little thank you for borrowing it card. I've got a product sheet, and I've got a catalogue. But then also I have 10 of these. So all this is a product sheet with my details on. There's a business card in there as well. My business cards I put in the tubs of washer whiffs as well. Like I keep them in there. Like, I don't know if you guys have windowsill breeze, but oh my god, it's so amazing. So I do that, and then I put it in, so this smells like as soon as you open it, it's great. And then I've got a few different samples in there as well. So I put 10 of them in my borrow basket. And what I do is when I get to the door on a one-to-one basis, this is a personal special. So I say it at the door, I haven't pre-warned them that I'm going to do this. Take the borrow basket and I say, have a look through the catalogue, let me know if there's anything that you like. Also, I've got a challenge for you. If you can get, it would be $100, 100 PRV. If you can get $100 in orders, you can have 3 days, you can have 5 days, totally up to you. You can have any warmer in the catalogue for half price. So this is a personal special, but I'm saying it at the door. You can have any warmer at all in the catalogue for half price if you can get $100 in orders. They've probably already got in the head that they're spending $30 on something anyway, so they think that's only like $70 stretch. I've put these in to make it super easy for them. There's 10 of these in. Make it super easy. I just say to them, hand these out to your friends and family, and then a couple of days later text them and say, what fragrances did you like? I'm putting an order in. Is there anything that you want to get? Super, super easy. These are pre-made up, and they literally hand them out and text them and say, I'm putting an order in with the Scentsy Girl. Is there anything that you wanted? If they can get $100 in orders, that's brilliant, because they can then choose a half price item. The way that I do that is because I've given them out in twos. Everyone does this challenge. Some of them get 500 PRV, some of them get 1,000, some of them get more, but usually everyone comes back with 100. When I collect both baskets in, I put them both together in a party order. That makes it the 200 PRV party. They're getting a perpetual, which is one of their half prices, and they're getting a half price reward, which is the other one. So not costing me a penny. I've also got product credit to use. So what I do is I choose my favourite out of the two, not because I like them the best, sometimes maybe, but usually the one that asked the most questions, who got the most in sales, who acted more like a consultant that week, who was keen, who was eager, who was asking more questions about it. And I'll message them and I'll say, look, here's your half price, what would you like for that? I've also got, I can sign somebody up tonight for, let me work out how much it would be for you. For us it would be, they've got 200 PRV, it would be £30, 59, yeah. So I can join, so would it be 59 or 39 because you're getting the 20 off as well?
It'd be 39 with
39.
if they had the 20 in free. Yep.
So I would say to them, I've got, you can get this kit here, I send them a picture of the kit, and I'm like, $39, you can get this as well as your half price item. You've already been a consultant all week, you've already done exactly what I would do. What do you think? Now, most of the time, the first person that I've asked said yes. If they say no for whatever reason, would another month be better for you? What month would be better for you? They say October's better for them, that's great. I go back to them then. I can either do the borrow basket thing again, or if I'm putting an order in of my own in, I don't need all the host credit. I've still got the half price items to use. I can just offer them one of my host credits for that month as well. If the first person says no, I'll go back to the second person. One of the two, I don't say, oh, I've asked the other girl and she said no, so I'm coming to you. I come to them like it's the first time. And I'm like, look, you've been a consultant all week, you might as well join the business. What do you think? So usually one of the two joins, and that's how I get a lot of recruits. Also, you've got the choice of flipping the party to them as well. They have earned half the credits, to be fair. So you've got the choice of flipping that party to them and that being their actual first order as well, if you want to. I personally don't do that. I like to get the PRV myself. I think the half price and the discounted join kit is amazing for them. That's a great deal for them. But you have got that option as well to do that, and that's going to help them on their way to certified, to shoot the star, things like that. So yeah, that's what I like to do. This makes it super simple for them as well. Also, they see this and see how I'm getting sales, and that's completely, I can't say this word, duplicatable. Can't say it. But that's so easy for them to reproduce. It is a product sheet, it is a business card, and it is samples. Like, they can do that, and they see that by handing them out and texting people, you've set them up for success of how to get orders. You hand samples out and you follow up with them. It's such a simple process. So it makes them see that there is a future in the business and that they can do it really easy. Has anyone got any questions?
There was a couple of questions in the chat that I think you got to them, but I did want to just make sure and clarify. So one of them was, how do you reach out to your downlines customers if they've been inactive for months?
So I have quite a good relationship with people. So I would message my downline and I would say, how are you getting on? Is there anything I can help with? They might say, oh, my heart's not in it anymore. I'm not fancying doing it anymore. I say, that's absolutely fine. Would you like me to look after your customers until your heart is in it again? Or if you want to leave until you come back again? Or if you want to stay around for a while but want to take some time off? And they literally pass me the list over, or they'll put me in their customer group and say, I'm taking a bit of time off, Rachel's going to look after you in the meantime, and they're setting that up and there's the trust there. And then I basically start with the whole, does anyone want samples? I've just made a load up and I do that.
Yeah, I really like that. It's always keeping a good open communication. Somebody asked, how often will you go back in and check on them? I think you pretty much answered that. And if anyone else sees.
How often do you check on who?
I'm not sure. Jessica, can you type in the chat? Can you give me some clarification on that one? Let's see. Somebody was asking what you were saying about the washer whiffs, that you just include them in those little bags that you did, right?
Yeah, so I put a full tub, can't even see any. So I put the full tub of washi whiffs in the borrow basket, but I only put the amount in for one scoop. So I leave the scoop in there and have one in. You can just then empty it into a tub in the house or something. So every time I give it out, I show the whole tub so they can see how big it is. We don't have the big, huge ones that you have. We have these ones. So I show the whole tub to see how big it is, and I leave enough in for one for them to use, because I've put the whole tub in before and they've used the whole tub. So I try not to do that now. My business cards I keep in there as well. I keep in an empty tub of whiffs with just a few sprinkles in, just to make the business cards smell amazing.
And then somebody, I think this is a lot, one or two more questions. I know we're already past the time. So if someone started a party this month and it closed on the 1st, could you give them the PRV, or because it closed next month, you can't do that?
Yes, I think you can. I don't actually know the answer to that one, Karen.
So as long as it's not, if it's PWS orders, it has to be flipped within that same month. That's my understanding.
So over here, PWS isn't a huge thing. I was shipping, like, English people don't like to pay shipping. So I tend to gather the orders from people, they just PayPal me, and then we put the orders in together. That's how it works over here. So I don't actually come across that very often.
Yeah, so it has to be, so, but if it is if they have ordered on PWS, you can't flip it the next month. It has to be done that month. And then this is the last question, I think. What do you do if one of those consultants that you met from your downline want to join the business? Do you sign them up under your consultant or you?
So yeah, if they're still in the business, so a lot of them choose to terminate their account, so they'll message consultant support and say, I want to terminate my account, and they might come back in the future and I look after their customers from there. If I'm looking after their customers and they are still an active consultant and they're just planning on taking a couple of months off, I have that conversation with them. I say, look, Jesse's really interested in joining. I know you're taking a couple of months off. What would you like to do about it? I'm more than happy for them to join into them, and I'll look after them if it's just going to be for a few months. And if not, they're going to roll up to me anyway if she does leave. So that's absolutely fine with me. I do see it as looking after them until they come back, because I would like them to come back and make a go of the business. That's more important to me. But if they don't, I am there to look after them, but I do ask them.
Okay, and last question, I promise. How often do you follow up on the seeds you planted? That's the last question.
Usually with customers, every order that I drop off, I try and do drop-offs in person. Most of my customers are quite local, so when I drop it off, I'm like, you could have got this for free. But I kind of ask them, like, there's a girl who's just joined who I asked 4 years ago. I've kind of checked in on her like every few months or when she's ordered. Or I've said to them, would another month be better? If I've had that conversation on my list of potential joinees, why they'd be amazing, there's another part to it, which is when to contact them next. If I've had the conversation and they've said October, I'm not pestering them in the meantime, because I've got that date of October of when I'm going to speak to them again.
All right. Thank you so much. There's so many, so many good takeaways. A couple things that I've used in my personal business that really have made a difference that you've taught me are, splitting the two hosts like you do and kind of pitting them against each other and then offering the kit to one. And then when they don't join, going to the other one and acting like, it's the first one you talk to. That's been super successful to me. The other thing that you taught me, and I've done it since early fall when you first mentioned it, you said, when you talk to them, you say, and I'm sure I'm not going to word it right, but you say, I still think you'd be great. And I'm going to keep asking you until you tell me not to, and that's something that I've started doing with my customers, and that I've had really good success. I'll say, no, if you tell me not to, I won't ask you anymore. But until you do, I'm going to keep asking you. Are you okay?
It's kind of like a game with them. It's like they expect me to ask them. And like I said, I have had someone who come to me who I didn't actually ask them that once. And I'd said that to them. I've said, look, I am going to keep asking you. I do think you'd be amazing. And they're like, yeah, that's fine. It might be a bit of time and another time for me. Like if they haven't given me a specific day. And then it was the one time that I didn't ask. I was literally in a rush and I had to get to the next one for 9 o'clock. And I was trying to get away without having too much of a conversation. She messaged me and she's like, you didn't ask me to join. Am I not good for you anymore? Like, no, I was just in a rush. And then she was like, well, I'm actually thinking about it. I was like, yes, finally. It's took for me not to ask you for you to join.
It's funny the way that works. Thank you so much for sharing with us tonight. You guys, we will have the challenge posted tonight. I will post the recording tonight. And there will be some added resources in the unit to give you help this week. Keep doing what you're doing. You guys are doing great. You guys are almost to week 4. This is week 3. You're almost to the end of month 1. And we're so excited to see what you do with this program. So have a good night, everybody.